My name is Bob Blankenheim. We live in Williston, Vermont. We chose this neighborhood because of the location, the quietness of the neighborhood, and the air quality and the pristine nature of the neighborhood. We came to find out after we had purchased the house that CSWD had made the decision, that's the Chittenden Solid Waste District, to build a landfill within a short proximity to the property.
The landfill proposal was within a quarter mile of the neighbor's drinking water supply. It was also proposed on a sand and gravel pit.
You don't build a landfill in a gravel pit anymore. That was old school technology. The current technology says that if you're going to build a landfill, you put it someplace that has a natural clay base that's extremely thick because the clay retains the moisture, retains the toxins, etc. You put a landfill into a gravel pit or a quarry or something like that, you're going to have seepage.
The EPA has said many times that every landfill will eventually leak. It's just a matter of time before the acidic, toxic juices that are created in landfills eat away through the layers of lining and seep down into groundwater. In this situation, that groundwater happened to be drinking water supply, and so there was a real threat to both the environment and human health.
We did our due diligence where we looked through our real estate agent before we bought the property. We found out that the land behind us was zoned rural agricultural and that nothing could be built back there. Subsequent to that, we found out that the community the town of Williston had not been honest with us, that this landfill had been in the process for some 15 years prior to us building this house.
The proposal from the Solid Waste District had essentially been mothballed for years. There was litigation pending and whatnot, and so there was no word of it for years and years. And in those years, Williston changed quite a bit. More people came to live there, and there were more and more housing developments. No one, however, built any of those housing developments with the landfill in mind. And so sure enough, when the landfill project reared its head again in 2006 and the Solid Waste District started talking about it again, there were neighbors who lived there now and were dependent on clean drinking water supplies.
Clearly there was an association of anger and a concern about housing values, and the loss that we could incur was scary, as was all of the elements that come around a landfill being 1,200 feet or 1,200 yards from the back of your property.
There's a larger kind of public policy question at stake in proposing a new landfill, and that is whether the state would be investing taxpayer money in reducing waste, so in more aggressive composting programs and collecting recycling and increasing recycling rates, or would they be investing money in landfills, which would be a long-time investment and a hazard.
One way or another, the taxpayers and the residents of Chittenden County would have paid for that landfill to the tune of well over $100 million.
There's a group, and they call themselves the Williston Neighborhood Coalition. They got word of this, and they consulted a lawyer, and the lawyer sued on their behalf. So they also reached out to the New England Grassroots Environment Fund, which is a group that provides sort of small grants to ad hoc neighborhood groups working on environmental issues. And so they gave me a call and said, "Do you know about this? There seems to be a group working to oppose it." And so I gave the leader of the group a call and explained the services that we provide, and he was glad to accept because they hadn't yet considered a political strategy, essentially doing any kind of grassroots organizing work to try to influence the decision. Instead, the only route they considered was legal. We're
talking about a group of homeowners that, when you get into this kind of an arena, clearly struggle. You know, in business, you know your business, and you know what to do. You know how to do it. You know how to structure your strategies. Clearly, in this arena, we didn't, and there wasn't anybody that had any kind of expertise in how to do this, and how to do it politically. Now, the thing that Toxic Action did for us, and really helped us out a lot, was setting the organizational structure in place, organizing the thought process, getting the group to kind of come together as a cohesive unit. The organization that they brought and the ideas that they brought, the concepts of how to go about doing this.
The first thing that we did was to bring the community together and create a campaign plan. So this started by just helping the group identify the decision makers in the process, so who has the ability to halt a landfill proposal. And then the next step is, how do we influence them? We went through that kind of strategy session with them and identified the Chittenden Solid Waste District as the most obvious and most local decision maker that the group could work to influence. We worked with the group to develop a message that elevated the issue beyond a backyard issue and into a larger state question about where resources went towards more waste disposal or towards more waste reduction. We awarded Chittenden Solid Waste District with a Dirty Dozen Award. Chittenden Solid Waste District is very proud of their track record of recycling and see themselves as an incredibly green district. And so this essentially called them out publicly. We continue to do press work through the following fall, and then the state engaged this statewide process to identify waste reduction opportunities, and the group engaged that process and helped to draft those recommendations, and so that process continued for 2 more years. So at the end of the campaign, a couple things happened. The state Secretary of the Agency of Natural Resources got up in front of hundreds of folks and launched a series of meetings in which a bunch of experts from different industries came together. In that speech, he essentially, he clearly stated that a new landfill was not what the state needed. After that, Chittenden Solid Waste District, their board started a conversation about other things to do with the land, and so actually a new composting facility just got up and running on a part of the site.
They built a composting facility on the property behind us. What we're looking to do is to get to the zero waste model. Clearly the composting takes stuff out of the waste stream. Again, what we're looking to do is to take the waste stream down to a point that the existing landfills in the state plus the economics of building another one just don't make sense.
It's not everyone that when a problem comes along in a community is willing to stand up and to take action and to take it on. Most people are comfortable just letting somebody else deal with it, and so these are those few who are willing to spend their evenings going to these select board meetings and dealing with these issues. So getting to know them and getting to work side by side with them is definitely the most amazing part of the job. There's lots of examples within what began as the Williston Neighborhood Coalition of community members that ended up going beyond just their local campaign to take on more. Bob did run for local elected office. Others in the group have gotten involved in local politics in a way that they just, I think, never would have. But this experience taught them very clearly that important decisions get made at select board meetings and at zoning commission meetings and at solid waste district meetings, and that they could be an elected representative of their town and have a say at those meetings, a direct say, and so many of them have gone on to do that.
Toxic Action supported us without any cost, and the fact that they can lend their support and lend their expertise on how to get things done to people that don't have that resource is key.